Okay. Hello.
It'll only be about 20 seconds here at most while they talk, and then we start off questioning.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Is it alright if I take this off the stand, actually? Gulf Stream breezes blowing, the search for truth goes on. Seeking, learning, sharing knowledge, finding the meaning of the past that is gone, where nature beams with pleasant weather. We strive to learn to work together. Florida Atlantic, we praise and hail thy name.
Can you hear me, Nick? Can you hear me? Check, check, mic check.
Mic check, 1, 2, check, 1, mic 2, check.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you. In a few moments, we will begin the 2018-2019 academic year at Florida Atlantic University with the freshman convocation. But we need to take care of just a few housekeeping items. First, and I already heard one, silence all cell phones and other electronic devices to minimize disruptions. Secondly, please locate the nearest fire exit to your seat. Soon, you will be welcomed to the FAU community and begin your academic journey. You will receive your freshman cords at the end of today's ceremony. We ask that you remain at your seats throughout the ceremony and until the recessional is complete and the ushers indicate your section is to exit the theater. Thank you in advance for your cooperation, and now would you please rise for the processional. Thank you.
Happy New Year. Good afternoon. I'm John Kelly, the president of Florida Atlantic University, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the spring 2019 freshman convocation. Please now stand for the national anthem, which will be sung by the FAU students in music and performance vocals, George Haddock, accompanied by the FAU Pratt Band under the direction of Dr. Mark Decker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in again thanking George, Mark, and our student musicians for that wonderful performance. Thank you so much for coming out today. We're really proud of them and grateful for the wonderful music they bring to many university events. And I want to take special pride in recognizing you today as a distinguished group of students. You are the largest freshman class ever admitted in the spring semester. Congratulations to you. And due to that large number, we're hosting our first ever spring freshman convocation at this moment. I'm delighted to welcome all of you to the FAU family. This is the beginning of a very important chapter in your life. The university officially joins you today with a wealth of resources to help you increase your knowledge of the world, your knowledge of yourself, and your sense of direction in life. If you're like me, I didn't really quite know what I was going to do on this day when I entered as a freshman. And I ended up here on the stage talking to a group of freshmen, so I consider that a great privilege. And I think you will find at the heart of FAU and your experience here will be some great faculty members who are eager to share their expertise and their wisdom with you. From the day it opened its doors 54 years ago, FAU has had an extraordinary group of women and men who are the faculty of this university. In our exit polls, the graduating students say overwhelmingly that their relationships with faculty members was the single most important factor in their FAU education. Many owls stay in contact with those faculty mentors decades after they receive their degrees. So please get ready to have some transformative experiences in the classroom and the laboratory under the guidance of the teaching professionals who are totally committed to your success. Another key element of life at FAU is the great diversity of our student body. This university is the most racially and culturally diverse in Florida State University system and is consistently ranked as one of the most diverse nationally by the U.S. News and World Report. Minority and international students make up over half of our student body, and we're delighted with that. During any given semester, students from dozens of foreign countries are part of the FAU family, and they enrich our university community beyond measure. FAU's Office of International Programs offers a study abroad program that I hope you look into. I had that opportunity when I was an undergraduate. It really changed my life forever to go abroad and to see other countries and understand other cultures. Nothing can deepen your understanding of the world beyond our shores like spending a summer or a semester or a year with people of another nation, seeing life through their eyes and bringing those insights home with you for the rest of your life. Scholarships are available to students who would like to take this advantage of this unique opportunity. I urge you to also take full advantage of everything that FAU has to offer, from its world-class library to its many rich array of clubs, social activities, and athletic events. I want to make special mention of a facility that has a wide variety of valuable services to offer to you, and I urge you to get familiar with this place and attend there regularly. The Center for Teaching and Learning is located in the second floor of General Classroom South Building. You'll find a difficulty finding all these new buildings on campus. There is an app that will take you to wherever you want to go, so download the app and you'll be set. But that's the Center for Teaching and Learning, and it's in the second floor of the General Classroom South Building. It is a one-stop shop that houses, among other things, the University Center for Writing and Excellence, the University Center for Math, the freshman and living and learning community programs, and tutoring services. If you get behind, please get involved in the tutoring services, or even before you get behind. I urge you to also make time to visit the Center for Teaching and Learning at your very earliest convenience. Get started there and let that be a part of your life here this first semester at FAU. Also, be sure to stop by the Campus Recreation and Fitness Center. If you haven't already seen that, you'll know that it's right across from the stadium. Its features rival most found in the most expensive commercial gyms, including 2 pools and a full range of strength and cardiovascular equipment. And the best news is that for student memberships, it's completely free. Something else that's free to students is admissions to the on-campus FAU sporting events. Right now, we're in the middle of basketball season, so I hope you'll attend some of those events in the upcoming days. That includes football, basketball, baseball, and softball games. Our men's and women's basketball teams are really doing well and prospering. They're young, they're brand new coaches, so this year is a learning year for them, but their seasons are going well. And we also will kick off our softball and baseball teams. Usually they win the division and usually win the conference. Those seasons will start in February. I hope to see you at the games this spring, cheering the Owls on to victory. We need your passion, we need your commitment, we need your loud voice. And no matter what your major may be, you'll find that many academic opportunities are here for you at FAU. Don't feel bad if you decide to change your major. I started off as an engineer. I did not end up as an engineer. So please, if it doesn't work for you, if your major is not the right thing that matches your personality, your skill set, and your interests, look into those opportunities early rather than late. If you're interested in science, you'd like to learn that at FAU you'll have the opportunity to take projects and research your very first semesters here. Some of our students have made presentations at regional and national conferences, winning widespread recognition for their work. In fact, FAU was named the #1 undergraduate research university in the United States this past year. Hands-on experiences also are available to students in the arts, education, business, social science, and all the fields encompassed by more than 170 degree programs. If I could present you with a single mission to pursue during the next 4 years, it would be to develop your critical thinking skills, discover new ideas, revisit the old ideas in a spirit of exploration, rededicate yourself not only to learning, not simply as memorizing of facts and ideas, but to also fashion some of your own and learn how to present those and share with others in a non-confrontational way. And do not be reluctant to change your ideas in the face of the new information you'll be receiving over the next 4 years. The world is changing very quickly, just as your lives are. When you graduate from FAU, you'll join the ranks of the most highly educated people on earth, and that is a privilege to be treasured and a responsibility to be embraced. I am confident that each of you in your own way will make a meaningful contribution to the future of our state, our country, and the whole world. It is a privilege for me to welcome you to this part of the journey of your life. Welcome to FAU. Go Owls! It is now my pleasure to introduce FAU Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Pratt.
Thank you, President Kelly, and welcome everyone. We are delighted that you are here with us. And before I continue with my remarks, I would like to introduce someone who does not have a speaking role in today's program, but will be very important to you during your time here at Florida Atlantic, and that is past University Faculty Senate President and Professor of Physics, Dr. Christopher Beadle. Another important person in your academic life here at Florida Atlantic is Dr. Ed Pratt, Dean of Undergraduate Studies, and you will hear more from Dr. Pratt shortly. You heard President Kelly introduce me as Provost, and as Provost, I oversee all the academic programs here at Florida Atlantic in our 10 colleges, and it's my job to ensure that you get the very best academic education possible at this university. And it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Spring Freshman Convocation at Florida Atlantic University. And on behalf of the entire university community, I welcome you to the next stage in your life's journey. You have been accepted to Florida Atlantic University because you have the ability to succeed at this remarkable institution. Therefore, I expect each one of you will succeed. In 4 years, each of you will walk across a stage here at this university when you graduate, and you'll be surrounded by the cheers of your family and friends. Not in 5 years, or 6, or 7, or more, but in 4 years, because you are the class of 2022. I would now like to recognize the heart and soul of Florida Atlantic University and of our great academic enterprise. These are the dedicated academic faculty with whom you will spend many days in the coming years and who will help you embrace the exciting opportunities now available to you. Would the FAU faculty please stand and be recognized? And we appreciate everything that you do for our students and our community. Joining the faculty in the first row are the deans of FAU's colleges and library. If you would please stand and be recognized. Again. I would also like to recognize the FAU staff that provide many of the services and resources to enhance your academic journey. Will the FAU staff please stand and be recognized? I think most of them are already standing around back there. Thank you for all of your efforts. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker. This faculty member won this year's Distinguished Teacher of the Year. This is one of the most prestigious awards that a faculty member can receive because the recipient is completely selected by our students in a 4-month-long process. This teacher, in their eyes, best represents the qualities of excellence in teaching, student advising, and service to the university, the community, and the faculty member's discipline. The Distinguished Teacher of the Year for 2018 is Dr. Laura Vernon, Associate Professor of Psychology, Harriet L. Wilkes Honors College. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Vernon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dean Pratt, Provost Danilowitz, and President Kelly. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you all here today. I love teaching at FAU. We have amazing students and an incredible university, and I am so glad that you all will be a part of it. Welcome. I want to start out with a few questions for you all. How many of you played a sport? Raise your hand for me. Oh, good, we got some athletes. How many of you were good at that sport? Oh, good, almost all the same group, I'm glad. Now, how many of you were good without any lessons or coaching? Raise your hand for me. All right, nice, a few of you, very nice. The natural-born athletes in here. But most of you, like me, took advantage of the available resources to learn and improve your skills. You had coaches. You are here in college for approximately the same reason, to find experts with knowledge, skills, and abilities who can teach and mentor and supervise and coach you in different areas. Now, as a professor, of course, I've got to start with academics. I want you to think of your professors as your academic coaches. Yes, we also have the sometimes unpleasant task of being the referee and the scorekeeper. But mostly we're here because we love coaching you. We want you to find areas that fascinate you. We want you to succeed. In your classes, I want you to think of your classes as mental cross-training. The better you get in one, the better you're going to be overall. Sometimes you might wonder why the university is making you take certain classes outside your major. Partly this is to improve your overall mental fitness. In much the same way a soccer coach is going to have you run laps and not just practice penalty kicks. If you can learn to think like a historian and like a chemist and like a mathematician and like a psychologist, you're going to be ready to rule the world and tackle lots of different kinds of problems from lots of different angles. So I urge you to get your money's worth out of all your classes, not just the ones you think you're going to like. You might find you love a new subject, maybe philosophy or geology that you didn't expect. And if you don't love it immediately, I really want to encourage you to keep an open mind. Find something, anything in that class to love or to grow from. Not only are you going to be happier, you're actually going to perform a lot better, and as a result, you're going to be learning and building mental muscle. So, if your classes are like exercises, and professors and teaching assistants are like coaches, I want you to remember to get advice from your coaches, not just about skills and knowledge, but also about how to play the game. Now, the president might need to plug his ears here, but college is a little bit of a game. Professors can coach you in their area, art or biology or economics or women's studies, but you also need to know things like how many credits you should take, which classes go well together, which classes you should wait to take, should you ask for an extension on an assignment? Have things ever gotten so bad that you need to consider withdrawing from a class? Those are some of the difficult things your coaches can help you figure out. They can also help you figure out really exciting things like, should you join a research lab? Should you submit your essay or poem to one of FAU's amazing campus magazines or journals? The university has excellent academic advisors. You should definitely consult them on class load academic issues, but also consult your professors and your teaching assistants, especially as you get further into your major. They're going to have a lot of advice they can give you. I also want to challenge you to think of your emotional and psychological skills and knowledge the same way. They are probably pretty good, but they can always be better. Now, I'm a clinical psychologist, so I suppose I'm practically obligated to say this, but I want you to think about this. Your emotional skills and knowledge are going to need to get better to get you through some of the tough problems that life is going to throw at you, both inside and outside of college. It might be a physical or mental illness of yourself or a loved one. It might be financial or social or moral crises, and I can guarantee you there are going to be some. So, identify your emotional and psychological coaches, like your resident assistants, the University Counseling Center, and some older students you admire who've already been successful and have already gone through a lot of what you're about to go through. You have amazing psychological coaches standing by to help you get better at the sport of life. Use them. And be a good friend and neighbor and help other struggling students get in touch with RAs and counselors also. I really want you to think of it this way. The same way you go to a doctor for a physical checkup every year, I think you should consider going in for a psychological checkup every year. Sometimes people think going to see a counselor means you're crazy or weak. Other people just take being independent and prideful a little bit too far. But would you be impressed by someone who brags to you that they have never in their life seen a doctor or a dentist? Yikes. Right? I feel the same way about people who have never gone to a psychological coach. Every one of us has something we could improve at psychologically or emotionally. Counselors can teach you how to manage test anxiety if you find your mind going blank on an exam. They can help you get over a devastating loss or breakup or loneliness. And obviously, they're also going to help with serious struggles like eating disorders or an addiction. FAU has an army of different kinds of coaches for you. Use them, benefit from them, and have a blast. I want you to have some fun. I want you to find some friends who are fun, who make you laugh, and who make things an adventure. You might have already found them. You might be sitting next to some of them, and that's great, right? So find some of those, but also find some friends you can depend on, some who are good listeners, some who are wise. Maybe those will be the same people as the party friends, but maybe not. Get yourself a team of good friends and make sure it's a balanced team. You need someone to party with, someone whose shoulder you can cry on, and someone who will get you up in the morning for class even when you don't feel like getting up, right? You're going to need different things from your friends at different points in time, and they're going to need different things from you. College is going to be amazing. It's also going to be a challenge. When I was a senior in college, I conducted 2 honors thesis projects. Now that might sound really triumphant. Sometimes it was, and sometimes it was just exhausting and overwhelming. I did one in psychology and one in sociology. And my psych project was looking at the influence of caffeine on the process of spider phobia treatment. It was actually pretty awesome. We used this huge Chilean rosehair tarantula and had spider phobics come in and interact with the tarantula. And after not too long, they could do it. They were starting to get over their phobias. And I was starting to learn a little bit about the role caffeine and anxiety played in phobias. There were a lot of really cool moments, but there were also some not so cool moments. So I'm just going to admit this quietly to you all. It'll be our little secret. Running this big project really tested and stretched me. There was a moment when I was so exhausted and overwhelmed that I lay down on the dirty tile floor of the lab and cried. I want you to picture that for a moment, me in the fetal position with my hair on the gross lab floor. Yeah, not pretty, is it? It wasn't pretty, but that's part of the process. Okay, maybe it doesn't have to be on a tile floor, but at some point in college, you all are gonna have your crying on the lab floor moment. Maybe it will be more dignified and you'll just hide under your covers or binge watch Netflix, right? For your sake, I hope so. That'll be a lot cooler and you can talk about it on stage 20 years from now and sound much cooler. But either way, right? You might drop your laptop, you might lose your essay, you might lose your data, or you might agree to work too many shifts at work and find suddenly that you're doing poorly on an exam or that you're overwhelmed. What will define you is where you go from there. Do you get back up again and keep working? Do you ask for appropriate help and advice and maybe talk to a coach? Do you reach out to get some love and support from friends and family? I would vote for all three of these. Keep working, get help, get love. Now, college is a good place to screw up, as long as you don't do it too often, and as long as you learn from it and get better because of it. To get better, I also want you to make yourself some academic and personal goals each semester. Sure, I want you to get good grades and learn a bunch. All your professors are going to want that. I also want you to get better at making friends. Maybe procrastinate a little less, plan a little more, be on time more often, feel more confident. We all have areas we can improve. I want to challenge you to challenge yourself to improve every semester so that by the time you graduate, 4 years from now, right? By the time you graduate, you're the new and improved version of yourself, version 2.0, or maybe version 10.0. I think you should strive for as many personal upgrades as there are iPhone upgrades, right? So it might need to be more than 10.0 by the time you graduate. We might be on iPhone 14 by then. I look forward to seeing you all when you graduate. You, 10.0 and beyond. It's going to be exciting. You're going to do well. Thank you so much. Welcome to FAU, and go Owls. And next, I have the pleasure of introducing to you another FAU student. He would like to share his words of wisdom with you. Please welcome Mr. Amori Menino.
All right, wait, yeah. Hi, I'm Amari Menino. I'm a junior here in FAU. And for most of my life, I've been a really great fan of science. I've gotten from a toddler who would change the TV to Animal Planet every single day to a student today who cries out in joy over math. I've always wanted to involve myself in science, both as a researcher and a communicator. There's a lot of power and responsibility in being able to talk and connect with others and to get them to start opening their minds and thinking critically. So I'm a really, really huge nerd, and my first year in FAU really exemplified that. I came in pursuing a double major in mathematics and economics. I got into the science learning community, but switched out to the freshman research learning community because it involved, STEM research and really focusing on that. My first semester, I took 17 credits, and my second, I took 19. Since the beginning of my freshman year, I've been conducting research in treasury bonds with the help of the National Science Foundation Learn program affiliated with the Office of Undergraduate Research and Inquiry. Last spring, I also became a learning assistant for Calculus 1 through the Math Learning Center, which is going to be one of the best jobs I've ever held. I also brought back the Math Club, which has been gaining support from faculty and students around campus. Since I sat in my own convocation a year and a half ago, I made it a goal to do 3 things: to find my community, to pursue my passions, and to not give up. And overall, I did. Everything I wanted to do my freshman year, I did it. And with all the challenges I endured, I loved every single day. And I know a lot of you guys are sitting here thinking, what do I know? Like, I'm just a student speaker here. We have 30,000 students here in FAU, and they brought me here to give the I'm your peer, and here's what I've learned talk. Now, I'll be the first person to let you know that my outgoing personality hides a lot of imperfections. In 11th grade, I felt senioritis, and I almost dropped out. I didn't do any work, I didn't care about anything, and I was really, really close to just dropping out of school. The first Friday of this past spring semester, the difficulty in my classes hit me so hard that I had to sit down and ask myself if I was going to drop out. And this past summer, the same thing happened again. You're not alone in this struggle. There are countless other students around you that have gone through most of what you will go through. But there are also countless people willing to help you. Find someone who's taken your classes, who knows the best electives and how to get involved in research. Someone who has cried the exact same tears that you have as you struggled and fight through your successes. Reach out to your faculty if you need help. Together, we find ourselves going through a raw and real experience as opposed to an imaginary one. I'm sorry. Like, that was the one. Okay. Fine. Why that joke? Oh, God. Find your support system, your community. And this sense of community is one that I feel every day, and it's a large part of why I love FAU. I'm grateful to each of the faculty mentors, and friends that have helped me. One of the most ethereal experiences I had my first year came on the last day of exams for the fall. I had just finished Calc 1, and I was studying ahead for Calc 2 in the math department when another student walked up to me. He saw my approximating rectangle and figured I was doing Calc 2. And I can't remember exactly what he told me, but it boiled down to stop and take a break. Calc 2 will be fine, just relax. And then he just left. Here was a stranger reminding me to take care of myself and get much needed rest. And I couldn't be more grateful for his advice. I encourage all of you to talk to those around you. If every day you will walk around hundreds, if not thousands of people who have found success and learned through failure. And so, from my college experience thus far, I've grown to really hate the question, which is, what are you going to do with your degree? In my mind, I'm thinking, first of all, it's degrees. And second, how am I supposed to know? I have a general idea of where I want to be in the next 10 or 20 years, the details of which change every single week. Yet people ask what's going to happen when I graduate in like a year and a half from now. And I think it can be harmful to think only about your future goals. While they're really important to have, the seemingly inconsequential decisions that you make today are much more impactful. Being aware of what's right in front of you gives you the chance to improve yourself and your future. I'm not studying math and economics because I'm trying to be a very impressive economist, making cutting-edge models and making a lot of money. I'm doing it because I love every single minute of it, especially the difficult and challenging parts. If these feelings last for the next few decades, that would be amazing. At the same time, I'm willing to accept them changing as I grow and learn. As students, we should learn more and pursue about what we love. I'm doing some of that through research. Our passions keep us moving forward day to day, and those will lead to our aspirations. I have friends who have changed their majors because their passions changed, and they couldn't bring themselves to learn what they didn't want to know. No amount of skill or knowledge will help you if you just hate your day-to-day life. Now, for me, consistent and relentless improvement has been my path to success. Earlier, I mentioned the things I did my freshman year and the goals I set myself. Last spring, I took 19 credits, reconvened the math club, served as a learning assistant, and I was doing research. With my research, I was analyzing research papers every week, looking for data, planning our work. In that same semester, I presented this research at the Florida Undergraduate Research Conference and the Undergraduate Research Symposium here in FAU. To top it off, I co-hosted a weekly radio show. Now, a lot of you are probably asking yourself, how can anyone handle that much work? And the answer is terrible, but simple. I didn't. It ruined my sleep, diet, and interpersonal relationships. My weekdays lasted between 9 to 7, back to back to back. With homework, studying, research, and everything else, I was lucky to get 5 hours of sleep, and I often had no time to eat anything. And it didn't help that my schedule really limited what was open and available for me to eat. And as a result of all this, I ended up in the hospital, serious illness that forced me to take incompletes in all of my classes. And it was then that I realized that in all of my efforts to strive academically, I had done it at the expense of my health. I neglected it and ignored the signs that something was wrong for so long. I was so focused on school, so focused on all the things that I was creating, that I never really stopped to think how I was straining myself. You're often told, to go focus on school, get good grades, and prepare for future success. But how often are we told just, hey, maintain your health? If you get sick, go to a clinic, see a doctor. Your health is your biggest priority. I can tell you firsthand that it is very, very easy to let your health decline. And we need to make sure that we stay on top of it. Eat right, drink water, exercise. Sickness can seriously creep up on you, especially when you're constantly stressed. The last thing I want is for anyone here to go through anything like my suffering. And looking back, I would have added a fourth goal of taking care of yourself to my list, and I encourage you to do so. Now, through 19 years of making goals and 19 years of challenges and achievements, I've learned something truly wonderful. It has pushed me to where I am today and has opened so many doors in my life, including standing here today to speak to you. Don't give up. That's it. It's so simple and so transformative. It is the best advice anyone can give, but it needs to be presented clearly. Often when you're told not to give up, it's with the implication that you have failed in what you were trying to do and that you shouldn't stop there. What has kept me ahead and pushed me even further is that I redefined what don't give up means to me. For me, don't give up is a call to self-reflect. Most people see their failure and think that it's a blemish on their future successes. It is easier to feel hurt and discouraged when faced with failure. But I challenge you to do the opposite. When you face failure, accept it. See it as a sign that you are not yet prepared for success, and that failure gives you the avenue to train and prepare for your goals. Because if you were perfect, you wouldn't fail. And at the same time, perfection doesn't exist. It's just an invaluable aspiration that we use to drive ourselves forward. Failure is a part of that aspiration. It's the new challenge that keeps the journey interesting. Every one of your failures is a chance for you to stop and take a breath and think, what happened here? What did I do? Of my actions, which were the ones that helped me, that hindered me? What can I change? What's out of my control? Can I take back control? Should I take back control? Has this happened before? Why has it happened again? These reflective questions not only allow you to overcome the failure as you return to your goal, but they allow you to grow as a person. In my eyes, if you keep moving forward, you can't fail. You'll face setbacks, you may change where you want to go, but if you recognize your weaknesses and improve yourself, you will succeed. And that mindset has kept me far away from the path of failure. This is a mindset that I wish more people held. A year ago, I knew a student here. Every day, they'd go out, do drugs, party, skip all their classes, and everything we're told will lead to failing and dropping out. And that's what happened. 3 days before the spring semester started, I saw them, and they told me that in a few days they were going home. And this really hurt me. I wasn't particularly close to them, but I knew what had happened. They didn't care about their classes, they didn't get passing grades, and they didn't feel like they could handle college. I can assure you that many of your classes and subjects will be impossibly hard, and some unimaginably boring, but it is all manageable. What I wish would have happened was for them to recognize that, hey, maybe constant drug use and not attending classes this summer wasn't the best idea. I should change something this time around. Now, unfortunately, you might end up knowing someone who will go through this. Throughout our lives, we will face our challenges. It could be as simple as a failed class or a broken car. It could be as devastating as losing a loved one. I feel as though it is only recently that I truly entered adulthood, that I truly understand that I'm accountable for my own actions. Because that's what adulthood is. Of course, you have the same support as before, more resources than before. But being an adult requires the understanding that you decide your journey. At the end of the day, you make your own decisions and you will face the consequences that come. The paths are meandering, problems will come at you from everywhere. But at the end of the day, your goals will lead you the right way, and your community will support you along that way. I can't promise you that following my mindset will give you an easy or nice life, but I can promise you that if you have a strong goal in mind and that you don't give up, you can meet any challenge you are faced with. So who are we to give up? Whereas the first step or the last leg of the race, we just need to push through. We can do this with proper help and guidance, reaching out to our community. And in turn, we can serve as support for each other. We need to set an example not only to those behind us, but to those ahead of us. With each other's assistance, we can climb and jump over any hurdle in front of us. That we know how to use that spark of human desire that has propelled us to where we are today. In front of me, I see the vast wave of greatness that my country brings out in people. We're all here today to add to the collective knowledge of humanity, to take in what's presented to us through our own experiences and beliefs, and to put back in what we make of it. In a few years, you're gonna find yourself here again, sitting in your graduation. When that day comes, you'll have to ask yourself, what did I do? All this time, all this effort, what came of it? Passively getting your degree and leaving is a choice, but it isn't a fulfilling one. You need to step outside today and start looking for what you want to do, what goals you want to set for yourself. If what you want to do doesn't already exist, then you create it. You have the power in your hands, so go out there and make something from it. There's no limit to what you can do, unless you're continuous. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ed Pratt. I'm Dean of Undergraduate Studies. Today, we formally welcome the class of 2022 to Florida Atlantic University. For all of you, this is the beginning of a new journey into the realm of academia. At the very end of this ceremony, you will be presented with a blue and silver academic cord. This cord represents your commitment to achieving academic excellence and success at FAU. Excellence and success can be achieved in many different ways. You can achieve excellence and success by graduating in a timely manner, that is, in 4 years. To graduate in 4 years, you should be taking 15 credit hours every semester. And believe it or not, no matter what your starting point, students taking 15 credit hours do better than those taking 12 or 13. You can achieve excellence and success by taking advantage of the many programs and services that we offer, such as undergraduate research, study abroad, internships, and community service. You can also achieve excellence and success by availing yourself of the support services we offer in the Center for Teaching and Learning. The cord also represents the beginning of a lifelong connection to FAU. The cord will serve as a reminder of your connection to the university community, and that community includes the student body, faculty, and staff, who are here to nurture your growth and intellectual development. After today's activities, put your cord in a safe place, because we want you to proudly wear your cord at your graduation 4 years from now. We are pleased that you decided to study here, and we look forward to working with you over the next 4 years. I would like also to invite you to join us following the end of this program for the OWL Involved event. The resident assistants will guide you on your OWL walk to the FAU Breezeway, where you'll enjoy an afternoon of free fun and entertainment. At this time, I would like to invite George back on stage and ask everyone to stand and join him in singing the FAU Alma Mater. The words are in your program. I would like to request that all freshmen remain seated until the platform party and the faculty have recessed from the auditorium. Thank you.
With the Gulf Stream breezes blowing, the search for truth goes on. Seeking, learning, sharing knowledge, finding the meaning of the past that is gone, where nature beams with pleasant weather. We strive strive to learn to work together. Florida Atlantic, we praise and hail thy name.